You are now tuned in to SportzAttic.
Welcome to another edition of SportzAttic. We are back. We are back. I'm your host, Rock Guy, with my man Trey. As normal, please don't forget, take your 2 seconds, man. Please comment, like, subscribe to your people, man. We love the support. We appreciate y'all. Before we get into this big game week with the Washington Commanders, big time divisional game, just like last week, we were able to knock off the Giants, man. Those are big time wins, man. We can stack up them division wins. So we got another one coming at home, which will make what 3 out of 4. Am I wrong? 3 out of 4 at home.
You talking about how many home games that have we played
so far?
Yeah, so
this will make the third. This will make the third.
Yes.
So I'd assume we got a nice little road trip coming up, but a big time game coming up. 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock Central. So we want to dive into the different details of the game, man. So as always, man, we start with just your overall thoughts, bro, going into this game. What do you think are going to be the keys to us being successful against the Commanders?
Well, Ryan, obviously the keys to the game is going to be the same thing that the same keys that drove the car to victory last week, and that's going to be a heavy dose of Pollard and Zeke. Balance it out, give them both touches. Keep the game plan relatively simple yet creative, which is what Kellen Moore was able to do last week. Rush the passer. Carson Wentz, I think he was sacked 9 times last week against the Eagles. So, and now he has Michael Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence coming and Dorrance Armstrong. So I think defensively we'll make it rough on him to pass the ball. And as far as the secondary, I think Trayvon Diggs got him his first pick of the season. He could have got 2 more of them. Literally dropped the pick 6. So,
right there.
Me personally, this is one of those kind of trap games. The thing is, they got to make sure that the Cowboys stay focused, don't get too high on the victories that the 2-game win streak they were on. They got to stay focused. I think that the Cowboys could get caught up in overlooking this game. Want to get an opportunity at the Rams. So if the Cowboys stay focused on this game, I think they'll be able to compete at a high level.
Yeah, man. Going into the game, of course, I like to, we'll get into the parlays of the day later, but I don't like to put any added expectations on the Cowboys, man. I look forward to the matchup. Of course, I'm excited about the defense getting after that, our front seven getting after their O-line. But Carson Wentz, of course, makes you nervous in terms of he can look like trash one week and then go crazy throwing it all over the place the next week. So I do look forward to it, man. We'll get into some key details regarding offense and defense. So I figure we'll start with the defense. So the Commanders do have some weapons,
Okay. Now you live you currently reside in Washington, D.C.
I live in D.C. So last year I went to the game. My boy Monty Mo, we should have him on this week. We'll have him on for the reaction.
Yes.
It's stamped. So he has just kind of crawled back into the Commanders fandom, man. He was a little sour after the whole RG3 ordeal. So we'll have to have him on. But so he had some free tickets last year, man. That game is crazy everywhere, man. There are a ton of I know there's Dallas Cowboys fans all over the country, but man, they are a ton of Dallas Cowboys fans here. A story behind it, we'll get into it later. But a part of it also is DC is kind of made up of a lot of transplants, people who are not from here. And so just naturally, you got a lot, a good amount of Cowboys fans here, but there are a lot of people from DC who are Cowboys fans as well. So we went to the game, man, and man, it is crazy.
Now, what's the name of the stadium out there now? It's
FedEx Field. It's still FedEx Field right now. They're talking about planning on moving the stadium to Virginia, kind of outside the city, 20-30 minutes away. That hasn't been finalized yet, but I think that's the plan.
Well, you tell me, you can attest to this. I heard that the stadium in Washington was trash.
Yeah, it ain't nothing to, you're not going there to be like, oh, we about to be in some world-class stadium. That's definitely not the case.
I mean, they say light fixtures are broken, toilets have.
Yeah, you there to strictly watch the game,
Yeah.
and that's it, and go home. But you got to be there. You need to leave the house at 11. You know what I mean? If you feel like if you want to be in your seat by 1 p.m., you need to leave the house at 11.
Yeah.
And that's without tailgating, any of those things.
Okay.
So we had a good time last year.
I ain't mean
but
to change
again,
the subject. I just wanted to make sure
yeah.
we reiterated that the stadium that the Washington Reds.
Yeah, I
Commanders
graded
play
it
in is
trash. I graded it as trash. Below average, for sure.
There you go.
For sure.
Go ahead. Continue your point. Sorry
For
about
sure. But nah, so we actually had to leave last year at the end of the third quarter.
that.
The Cowboys had the game pretty well in hand. And so we decided to leave. We can beat traffic. As we are walking to the car, which we had a nice little 15-minute walk to the car, you hear the stadium going crazy. That's when the at the time Redskins were making that comeback. They had pick six Dak. You remember that? And they had made it a game. They had gotten within one touchdown. But it was all crazy.
You said Dak threw a pick six?
He did.
Oh, okay.
He did.
I just wanted to make sure we reiterated that as well.
Hey, man, you can jump on that Dak hater train and stay on the caboose. Right in the stay on it. You can stay on it. Hey, I ain't got no rebuttal for you. So Dak threw the pick six. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, you got to leave early to beat traffic. If you don't want to sit in traffic for an hour and a half, you need to leave at a certain time, and missed literally a whole quarter of the game. But, man, had a good time. Good time. So, the Commanders will be coming to Arlington, Texas.
Right.
To see us, man. And defensively, I can't wait to see the way Dan Quinn dials it up. I heard they got after Micah, making fun. That lets you know how dynamic and dominant you are. They got on him for having a donut in a sack column last week. No matter how disruptive he was, they was teasing him about not getting in the sack column. So I think you can expect a pretty aggressive and amped up Micah Parsons for this game. But again, we'll have to keep their weapons in check. They're predominantly in the receiver category. Curtis Samuel's quietly having a really good year.
Right.
And they got Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson.
Mm-hmm.
And, and Logan Thompson at Thomas at the tight end position.
Very athletic, injury prone.
It sounds like they were waiting for Brian Robinson, the rookie running back out of Alabama, to take Antonio Gibson's spot.
So they're not high on Antonio Gibson out there?
Man, it sounds like they're waiting. I mean, maybe they're waiting for the split, but it sounds like they're waiting for Brian to just take over and then Antonio be a complimentary piece.
So in DC, they don't like Gibson. Are the fans over Gibson?
I wouldn't say over him, but just like have a pretty mid-level expectation of him. And so, new flashy new flashy, prospect commodity that they've drafted.
Mm-hmm.
The organization was really high on him. And for those who don't know, he went through an ordeal and got robbed at gunpoint for his car and was shot in the lower extremities like twice. And it's really amazing. And this happened like a month and a half ago. So for him to be back on the practice field, ramping up for a return in the next couple of weeks is pretty amazing on his part that, for one, that he didn't die getting shot twice, and then two, to be back on the practice field and back in the fold in a matter of a month and a half, maybe 2 months is pretty extraordinary. And blessings up. That's amazing.
Blessings to that guy. The only other person that I know who can, take a gunshot wound and be back out there within a month is Zeke. So
yeah, I feel you. Hey, let's do it again. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because you sent me some subliminals on our page, and I need you to start tagging when you post.
Why would I tag you? You should be checking it.
So I am checking it, but it need to be like, this is from Trey or something. You know what I'm saying? At Trey Sports Guy.
I get what you said. I get what you said. You want me to make sure that the public knows that I made that post, not you.
For sure.
Okay, I understand.
I don't dislike Zeke. I don't. I really like Zeke, actually. So let me get into it. I'm gonna give you your chance. I feel like I got a little, not a little rant, but explain myself for a little bit with Ezekiel Elliott. The only reason I point him out is because this guy, my co-host, my good friend, Trey, he has He's just not consistent with his criticism across the board. Zeke is one of our, I don't know, top 3 highest paid players on the team as well. I think so. Yeah.
Deservingly so.
Cool. So when Dak plays terrible, I have no problem criticizing someone when they don't play well and holding them accountable. I don't.
Me either.
But Trey will point out the line is bad. The offensive coordinator ain't doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Zeke limited touches. He'll point out all that. Boy, he'll give my boy a length of bail. You know what I'm saying, for his production. Dak has those same dynamics in his, in place when he doesn't produce well. But you'll come over here and go crazy. Trash. So all I'm saying is when Zeke, number 4 pick, you talking about expectations, number 4 pick, Dak was number 4th round pick.
Yeah,
they both got paid. I don't argue that the quarterback position is more important than the running back.
They both Zeke got paid and Dak got paid.
Yeah, I don't argue that the quarterback position is more important than the running back position. I don't.
You're making my point. I don't even have to speak.
No, you do. So when Zeke turns in a pretty pedestrian day, 14, 15 carries, 50-something yards, it's just crickets from you, and that's crazy to me. That's just ironic to me, especially when he has a guy who gets similar carries and produces more majority of the time. So
not the majority of the time. That's incorrect.
Well, okay. Well, you can look back at the stats. We can look when they get similar carries. Their average per yard carry is there's a difference there. So when they get similar carries,
he had a couple good games this season.
Who?
Pollard.
Okay, cool. He's had him for a while now. Well, forget Pollard. We're talking about Zeke. I like Zeke. This is really more so on the running back position. I've told you before.
Right.
I told you
don't believe in paying running backs.
I don't. When you get to your 5th year, the position physically is just too brutal. It's just too brutal. So when you give a running back big time money, top of the market money for a running back after their 5th year, you're essentially paying them for what they've already done.
Correct.
That's what you're doing.
Right.
They're not going to have that production going forward. So Zeke right now is a good player being paid like a great player. And that's not a position you want to be in. I'm not saying he's not good. He is good, but he's being paid like a great player.
Right.
And that's just the position.
Right. And that's every position, right?
That's not every position.
That is every position. Every position you pay a player for what they have already accomplished, not necessarily and a part of what you think that they're going to do going forward.
Right, but other positions have a more longevity because it's not as brutal that they can continue that level of play into their second contract. Right. I don't believe running back is one of them. I
actually don't disagree with you on it.
Yeah,
I personally don't believe. I believe if I had that pie that Jerry Jones was speaking of, sure, I would spread the pie out to be strong in multiple positions rather than pay a quarterback or a running back or a defensive end or a cornerback extremely top tier money. That's just
if you get a good quarterback, you don't have to pay him. That's just the case.
But
that's just the case across the league.
Yeah, I know that. That's pretty much at every position. But the guy we pay at quarterback isn't the guy. And that's the issue that I have. And that's not even the issue that I have because I actually am happy that got paid because I like when black men get paid. So
the guy we paid at running back, is he the guy?
What do you mean is he the guy?
Yeah, answer the question.
I got this jersey on. You think this was cheap?
Okay, well, hey man, if I'm just want to get your opinion on record, that's cool. If we ain't gotta hold him ever accountable, you know what I'm saying?
Listen. If you're asking me, has Zeke lost a step? My answer would be yeah. He's not jumping over people anymore. And I
don't care about the jumping over people.
Right, I know. I'm just talking about
$90 million. Who's getting paid more than Zeke at running back? Let's talk about that.
Nobody.
All right. So that's an issue.
But who has been as effective as Zeke and has been as injured least as Zeke? Am I saying that right? That has not been injured as often.
I'm not
as
saying
Zeke.
he's not durable, bro. I'm just personally
so that
saying
plays a factor into it because what Zeke accomplished in his first 3 to 4 years here in Dallas was extraordinary, and he was at the time an elite, top tier, number one overall, top 2 or 3 running back in the NFL. And not only that, he didn't miss any games besides the suspension that he had to accept in his second year. So he's extremely durable and he was extremely productive, even when our team was limited at quarterback, where our quarterback couldn't throw for 200 yards. He carried us. I think I read last offseason, 2 off seasons ago, Zeke had to have back surgery for carrying Dak so much.
Okay.
But he's okay. Right. He's fully recovered. But maybe he's not, man. Maybe that's not why he's not hitting the holes like you want him to. His back
all I'm saying is at the end of the 5th year,
how much money do you think Dak owes Zeke?
We should have done. I ain't changing the subject. We should have done what the Steelers did. We should have franchise tagged him when he held out. What we didn't do is protect ourselves like the Steelers do. They might draft a 5th round running back, 3 down type running back to protect yourself. Take care of the trenches with high priority resources, 1st round, 2nd round picks, right? And so if you want to sit out, we don't have Le'Veon Bell no more, right? But we got James Conner. Come on, you want to sit out? Come on, James Conner. You do your thing, James Conner. When your contract up, we don't believe that you got another 5 years in you to give you what you want. All right, so what they do? Go draft Najee Harris, top resource, right? But there's a difference between a pick in a 20-something in the 1st round where they drafted Najee, and we took him 4. We took him 4 over Jalen Ramsey, who still plays at a very high level. I know he got torched by Stephon Diggs. You know what I'm saying? But that's one game. You know what I'm saying? But
just like Zeke had that one bad game.
No. Let's not talk about one. We can go through the games. We can. We're not gonna do that because I like Zeke, but it's just positional value. You can say what you want about Jalen. Jalen was a shutdown corner for a Super Bowl team and a shutdown corner for another team that went to the AFC Championship. So I just think it was a bad, even though he obviously was a really good player, man. He was going crazy.
What were you about to say? You think it's a what? A bad?
It was a mistake to draft him over Jalen Ramsey. So if you disagree, you disagree. Would you rather have Jalen Ramsey right now or Zeke? Because you could have drafted. I know hindsight 2020, but you could have drafted Jalen Ramsey and Derrick Henry in the 2nd round.
Wow.
I like Zeke though.
Quit saying it. You don't like Zeke.
At the end of the day, I do like. You don't like Zeke. At the end of the day,
you've been hating on Zeke this whole episode.
Zeke is in the position.
We supposed to be talking about the Redskins.
We are. And Zeke's a big part of it.
The Commanders, and all you did was use this time to slander Ezekiel.
I'm not slandering Zeke. None of that was slander. Zach, I said Zeke is good, being paid like a great player, but good on him, dog, because he caught us red-handed, right? We weren't prepared like the Steelers to be like, oh, we can move on and have a little lesser talent and still be, productive.
But Le'Veon, okay, so the difference is Le'Veon although he was very good for the Steelers, he wasn't their absolute best player. And Zeke was ours. He wasn't. They had Antonio Brown for part of that time.
They was neck and neck. They were neck and neck. They were neck and neck as their best player. Le'Veon was what I'm
saying. But it wasn't no one neck and neck with Zeke for 4 or 5 years.
Well, whose fault is that?
Guess Zeke's mom for making him so talented.
Hey man, no, we just didn't have as much talent as the Steelers, but he was their best running back, one of the best running backs in the league, and their 2nd best receiver at the time when this was all going on, and they were willing to walk away from that.
Zeke was one of the best running backs in the league and a good pass blocker.
Okay. Anyways, like I said, if we would have protected ourselves like the Steelers did and had someone in the tuck, like a 3-down running back where you can walk away from it and continue to be successful. But that's what like really good organizations do.
But I'm not going to get on here, this platform, and defend our front office at all. But I would say if was a 5th, we'd all be drunk. So we can't talk about hindsight 2020 because if I switch the subject over to Dak, all of those things, those points that you just made applies in that same way.
No, they don't.
Yes,
no, all the points don't. No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Why they don't? Why do they apply to Zeke but not that?
Because I just said the positional value.
What
I just don't think you should. Okay. I just said you shouldn't pay a running back. That doesn't mean I said you shouldn't pay a quarterback.
What about DeMarcus Lawrence then?
What about him?
He's a run-stopping defensive end, and we paid him $20 million.
He's not just a run-stopping defensive end.
He is a run-stopping defensive end.
He
I
just
know
got
he
3
exploded.
sacks.
I know he
He
exploded.
just got 3 sacks.
He did. Shout out to DeMarcus
Yeah.
Lawrence. Shout out to
Yeah,
him. This ain't no slander on DeMarcus Lawrence.
It sounds like it.
There's no slander on
it.
No, it's describing the type of player he is. He is considered to be a run-stopping defensive tackle, and he did have a good pass rushing season those 2 years when he was back-to-back franchise tag. So he had a
going rate.
So
I don't think he's a good player getting paid like a great player.
What Zeke say? Okay.
What Micah finna get paid? That's a great player.
He gonna get paid like Zeke did.
He gonna get paid like a great player.
Zeke was a great player when he got paid.
But pass rushers could continue that production past 5 years.
Hey, well then
like Von Miller.
Hey, just because I don't have the same longevity as something else don't mean that the quality of product that I'm giving you for the short term, you don't have to pay for that. You got to pay for that.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
No, it does matter. Yes, it does. That is exactly what it means.
If
you're gonna give me production for 5 years that is already passed, and you think I'm gonna give you great money for the next 5 years, that's just a bad decision. It's not his fault. He got paid. I'm happy for him. Get paid, young fella.
It sounds like you're mad that he got paid.
I'm not mad. He did a great job. He did an amazing job.
He needed that extra money so he can go get them nose rings.
Yeah, I feel you. Hey, I'm not mad at it, for real. I just think now you're stuck in a position where a good player can pay great money.
But the truth is, Zeke is still a good to great player. He is.
Great. Good.
He's good, man. He helps us, man. I'm telling you.
Good, bro. I said good.
Just trade me Zeke. Trade me Zeke.
Trade me Michael Pittman.
I offered you to trade you Michael Pittman.
You threw in Mark Andrews, a great tight end.
You
threw in a great tight end. Michael Pittman's a good receiver.
Okay, you want Amon St. Brown?
Sure.
Amon St. Brown for Andrews?
And Zeke and Michael Pittman.
This is SportzAttic exclusive.
I say and Michael Pittman and Zeke. Throw them in there, and I'll do it.
Oh, who else you gonna throw in there?
That's it. Zeke and Mark Andrews.
So you think Mark Andrews and Zeke is worth 2 elite receivers? And get out of here.
And that's it. Yeah. Bro, what you just said, he great borderline player. What's the issue?
It's not about fantasy football is not.
So we already said Mark Andrews is a great player.
Listen,
so
I already told you that your team is highly dependent on your quarterback tight end combination, and that Lamar Jackson will not continue to score 4 touchdowns a game, and Mark Andrews eventually will have games where he's not catching for a touchdown every single game, and when that happens, you lack depth. And I'm very unimpressed by your team. So I'm offering.
Hold on. Let me just ask something. Mind you, everyone knows I have Zeke. So why, when you say you're unimpressed or I lack depth or I lack talent, why Zeke name ain't coming out your mouth when you say these things? Like besides these people,
I'm trying to get. I'm
asking you. You say I lack depth. You say I lack talent. And you ain't named Zeke once.
Zeke, I'm negotiating.
You said I got Lamar Jackson. You say I got Mark Andrews. You never say you got Zeke. Outside of that, you like talent. You don't say that. You say outside of Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson,
maybe
you lack talent.
Maybe lack talent is a bad choice of words.
I'm just using your words.
The better choice of words would be you lack volume on your roster.
You told me my running back group was a strength.
Yeah,
as a whole.
But to have running backs depth in fantasy, it is valuable. But at the same time, if you starting 3 running backs in fantasy, that's not good for you.
Okay. On to other things. Where were we with the Commanders topic? Because you got me off topic.
Let's talk about the impact that a defense will be able to make on getting the Carson Wentz, or what you think our defense will be able to do against the Commanders.
So I think them coming off getting, pretty exposed in terms of pass protection against the Philadelphia Eagles, who look really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're gonna have to come in with a game plan to negate. They know, what type of pass rush is coming. So they're gonna have to come in with a game plan. I expect to see a lot of quick passes, a lot of screens, a lot of, get the ball out of Carson Wentz's hands, man. Like, it's not gonna hold up. If you're sitting back there think you're doing 5 step drops, bombing it down the field. You're making, max protect every now and then and taking shots for play action if the run game's working. So that's what I expect from the Commanders. A lot of quick passes, quick game. They should try to establish the run game, because if you think Carson's just going to drop back again, elongated pass routes, long time developing, that's not going to work. So that's kind of what I expect from them. I look forward to it. Again, my eyes are always going to be glued on Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence. And
speaking of Micah, so so didn't mean to cut you off, but
go ahead.
Where is the best place for Micah to play this week, linebacker or pass rusher? And the reason that I ask you this, and I know what you always say is pass rusher, right? They gave up 9 sacks last week, and if we can get Micah busy going downhill, rushing Carson Wentz, that has to bode well for us. However, what I've noticed is Carson Wentz throws a lot of passes to his running backs out of the backfield, whether it's Gibson or even they bring Chris Samuel, put him in. Is it Curtis Samuel?
Curtis.
Yeah, they bring Curtis Samuel. They put him in the backfield, throw it to him out of the backfield, and they also throw it to J.D. McKissick out of the backfield. So knowing that they're going to have a plethora of running backs coming and making themselves threats as receivers, do you think it'd be better to have Micah in a position where he can cover those guys out in space and make short tackles, or do you think it's more beneficial for him to put his hand in the dirt and rush Carson Wentz?
I want him. I want him rushing. But I wasn't so strongly with like he should be rushing every time against a team like New York Giants, where the main guy is Saquon and he's involved in the passing game. He's like their main cog, and he's involved in the passing game as well. So I wasn't as strong on like, he needed to be rushing. But this game, yes, I just don't think stopping the running backs coming out the backfield. I really got faith in our defense as a whole to be able to kind of contain that. You could have Donovan Wilson come down in the box and do that, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So I want him getting after the passer. I just think getting after the passer affects much more than stopping like the dump offs. You know what I mean? Like, even if you don't get there, just a thought, and you got to bring your extra tight end in. You bringing somebody out the route tree. You know what I'm saying? Just a thought. You're singling up other people one-on-one against the defensive line. Even if you don't get there, he almost there, and Carson throw a duck for a pick. Like, I just feel like it's just much more of an impact on the game. But again, it's because I got faith in the other guys. They don't have a Saquon. You know what I mean? That I'm just that worried. I'm not saying they can't hurt you. Just like we talked about Daniel Jones being able to run. Like, at the end of the game, his stats, they look good on the ground. You know what I mean? But I just rather him been getting after Carson Wentz. I think it'll force him into a lot more mistakes. That when you do that, like Micah, in my opinion, shadowing running backs and stuff, that doesn't help the rest of the defense. When he's getting after the passer, that helps the corners, that helps the safeties, that helps the other linebackers, and it helps the other defensive linemen. In my opinion, that's just much more of an impact, and that's why I kind of want to see him getting after him.
All right, then. Offensively, Ryan, Cowboys are going against the Commanders' defense. I don't know where the Commanders' defense ranks as far as stopping the run or stopping the pass. But
sure,
I do know that they're going to be playing without
Chase Young.
Yeah, Chase Young. What do you think the offense is going to do?
So I definitely, a couple seasons ago, the Commanders at the time, Redskins defense was like, they had expectations of being one of the, better units in the NFL defensively. And I think they kind of lost that, that luster, that allure. Again, like we just said, Chase Young, shoot, man, he going into his third year. He was supposed to be like a dynamic player, even when he's playing. He's got a lot to prove. But anyways, they still got the big boys in the middle. I'm not saying it's a bad unit. Again, we played them last year and they were able to make plays against us. So I think we still just got to attack it with a balanced attack. My biggest thing is I hope CD can kind of take that step to being a little more consistent. Like that play we saw, that stretch he had during that drive, right? That was pivotal for us against the Giants. I want to see a little more of that. I don't want to see him disappear this game. Seen a whole bunch of Noah Brown.
But I think that I think that also comes with play calling, because I think it's weird that we were so heavy CD on that one particular drive, and then you don't really go heavy CD throughout the game. It's kind of like Kellen Moore gets fixated on a certain thing, like, oh, we're just going to Dalton, or Noah Brown, instead of mixing it up where the defense don't really know who may be coming. But I guess that's a conversation for another day. As far as us on offense, I'm very excited about our offensive line. Looking at that left side with Jason Peters now playing guard. Hopefully he can get more snaps and get more playing time under his belt, get his wind under him this week. Yep. But he and Tyler Smith looked really good on that left side this week. Of course, you still have Zach Martin, who's very, very good at run blocking. When Zeke scored his touchdown, they ran right behind Zach Martin. Yep. He popped the guy, helped open up the line, open up the hole. Him and Ferguson actually put Ferguson at tight end, actually a fullback on that play. And they opened up that hole for Zeke to bounce through. So I'm excited about our offensive line. Hopefully they can stay disciplined, keep the penalties down. And I know you said something like keep the balance. I actually prefer more run to pass, in my opinion. I actually prefer, maybe a pass on first down, loosen up the defense, give me a run on second down, and then let's judge the third down based on, whatever that down and distance is. If it's short, I still like to just run behind those big guys up front, and but not necessarily right up the middle, obviously. But yeah, I would like to still even run on third and shorts sometimes.
You see, Zach Martin said, "Stop doing that shit."
Stop running on third and short?
No, running like right into his back. Did you see that clip?
Who ran into the back of him?
They ran a run play, and it just went right into the back of Zach Martin, and he yelled at the sideline, "Stop doing that shit."
Oh, yeah. Well, stop it. You running?
Yeah, we've been talking about that. Like, that's a dumbass play. But, hey, he said, "Stop doing that shit." They yelled it at the sideline.
Yeah. Nah, they should have been. And that's why Zeke ain't been doing what you want him to do, is because they be calling that dumb stuff. Hey, Zeke, go run into that wall real quick.
Yeah. We also,
hold on, Apollo, we're going to get you out of space. Nah, man, let's keep going.
But we'll do a triple reverse to Paula too, so don't act like Paula don't get shitty ass hands too.
Nah, you're right. I saw one play, we ran to Paula so bad first week. I don't know what was going on. I think he patted the ball to CD Lamb.
But I really think last week was like a great
mix
example, right? Of the whole quote unquote thunder and lightning. Like, they both were factors in the game. Both had their chances. Like, I like the mix of like Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt have. They're both, going into the game, you got to deal with both of them.
Right, exactly.
And I like that. I just didn't like, the last couple seasons. Like, we got a weapon, and what I hate to see is a dude like Tony Pollard. We don't utilize him right, and then he go to another team and he show what he can really do, and like we had him the whole time, and we all saw the talent that what he could do. You know what I'm saying? That's like super frustrating. So I hated the splits of like 4 carries, 3 dumbass trick plays, you know what I'm saying? And that's it. That's all he got. You know what I'm saying? So I was happy to see, like, they just utilized him as a running back last game. You know what I'm saying? When he had his opportunities, and he made the best of it. And and Zeke played well too. So I like that. It was like kind of like thunder lightning, a tandem of running backs that you're going to have to deal with. And I hope to see that going forward.
Well, yeah. So, based on what you're saying, and what I've been saying, I guess, throughout this podcast today, I guess safe to say that we're in agreement that the Cowboys should probably get a win in this game.
How about them Cowboys?
I hope so. I'll never just say what we should do. That's not synonymous with.
Well, obviously, it's Friday. It's prediction Friday, so you're gonna have to tell us what your outcome.
Yeah. So I'm going to predict the Cowboys come out with a victory. That'll be a big time win. 2 division games in a row. Make it 3 in a row in terms of just the win column. If I had to give us a score, I'm still going to stay in that range of that 24, 21 type point deal. So I'm going to say 24-20. Dallas Cowboys get the win against the Washington Commanders at home.
And I'm going to ride with you. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I think our defense still continues this streak of holding opponents under 20 points a game. I think they give up 17 points this week.
I was just about to say I wouldn't be surprised if it's 17.
Yeah, I think they give up about 17 points this week. I think they get a couple turnovers this week. I think the offense keeps the ball on the ground, but still somehow manages to squeeze out 3 scores. So my prediction is Cowboys 21, Redskins 17. Commanders.
We passed that. You know,
Cowboys 21, Commanders 17.
Yeah.
And that leads us into my favorite segment of the day.
Sunday parlay of the day
with Ryan and Trey.
Oh,
bow, bay. Now let's recap. Last week, Ryan. Ryan went 3-1 last week, I went 2 for 2.
What do you mean by that?
Okay. And if you add
2 and 2, let's not say 4.
2 and 2.
Yeah, let's
so
not
Ryan
say 4.
was 3-1, and I was 2 and 2. I was saved to not have a losing week. And if you factor in our Cowboys picks, that would make Ryan 4 and 2 in the season, and me 3 and 2. Is that right? No, 3 and 2, and you'll be 4 and 1. Yeah, you'll be 4 and 1. I'm 3 and 2.
Well, you trying to mess up the records on purpose? Go ahead.
No. You doing your thing. That was a good weekend last week, but you didn't even put in parlay.
I didn't.
All right, so you weren't.
You ain't have to know the people. You ain't have to let the people know that though.
Yeah, I just had to let them know because you be here.
That's hating. That's hating. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
So, my parlay pick of the week.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Browns.
Let's see what I got
against the Falcons this week. They're going to be on the road. They're at 1-point favorite, and I got the Browns covering the 1 point. I know that the Falcons got a big win last week on the road against Seattle, but I think the Browns are going to be able to have a similar formula to the Cowboys, run the ball. Browns -1. I also have the Lions. They're at home against the Seattle Seahawks. I just don't think the Seahawks are a good team. I know that the Lions are missing they're going to be missing
St. Brown, the receiver.
Yeah, and is he for sure not playing this week?
St. Brown and Swift are out.
Oh, they're for sure. Brown for sure. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they're going to be losing their top receiver and their top running back who actually functions as a receiver for them. But I think Jamal Williams will fill in just fine. I think that the Lions will get it done at home. Lions -3.5. My next pick is the Packers at home -9.5 against who are the Packers playing this week? Against the Patriots. Without Mac Jones. I like the Packers at home -9.5. And my upset pick of the week is the Ravens. They are at home against the Bills.
Yeah.
And they're getting 3 points, right? They're getting 3 points at home. I believe in Lamar Jackson. I'm a big Lamar Jackson fan. I want him to get paid. I believe this is a game where he can put his fingerprints on it and force the Ravens to go ahead and back that Brinks truck up to him. So my upset of the week, you can take them +3. I'm taking them on the money line. So just a recap of my 4 picks: Browns -1, Lions -3.5, Packers -9.5, Ravens straight up on the money line. Upset pick of the week.
Okay. So I'll start with the game we have in common. That's the Browns -1 versus the Falcons. I just think the Browns are a pretty well-balanced team. Got an obviously dynamic run game going against the Falcons, much like you said. I actually like a lot of the defenders too. Thank God Myles Garrett wasn't more seriously injured. I don't know if you saw that car wreck that he had. His car looked crazy. So I'm taking the Browns -1 versus the Falcons. Next game, I got the Broncos +2.5 versus the Raiders. It's kind of baffling to me with 2 of my picks that the better team with the better record. I get the whole desperation thing, but they are getting points versus a team that's below 500. So that's the case in this one with the Broncos versus the Raiders. And the Broncos are getting 2.5 points. And in that same mold, I'm going to take the Rams +1.5 versus the 49ers, even though the 49ers have had the Rams number in kind of the last couple matchups.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think the Rams have been, playing decent this year. I think both of them, I think the 49ers are without Trent Williams for a little bit.
That's big.
That's big. That's like one of their, that's one of the left tackles that you throw in like the big three, big four group when you talk about a certain offensive team. So I'm going to take the Rams plus 1.5. And my last pick is the Giants minus 3.5. Sorry, minus 3 versus the Bears. I kind of just feel like the floor of what the Giants are is just higher than the Bears. Their offense looks terrible. The Bears, that is. And so we'll see if they're able to turn it around and generate some points. But I just think, I got one guy that's dynamic on the Giants on the offensive end that can put up some points for you. And I don't see where the points are coming from for the Bears. But David Montgomery's out. He's been actually playing well. So we'll just see if I don't know if the game plan is going to change for them, getting Khalil Herbert the ball more. But we'll see. But I'm going to take the Giants minus 3. So to recap, my 4 plays, just like Trice, I got the -1 with the Browns versus the Falcons. I got the Broncos plus 2.5. I got the Rams plus 1.5 and the Giants -3.
And we both picked the Cowboys to get a victory this week.
Yes.
You said 24-20.
24-20.
24-20, and I said,
guess in that mode, if you want to go crazy and do a 5-team leg, I did predict them to cover the spread, but I ain't gonna, I don't like going into the week.
Yeah. So my rule to the parlay of the day with Ryan and Trey is never bet on the Cowboys.
I agree. But hey, you float your boat. If that's what you feel like doing, go crazy.
Now, what you can do is don't bet on the Cowboys on the money on the point spread.
Yeah.
And you take them on the money line. That way, you just need us to get a victory.
But don't hold that against us, though. We ain't tell you to do it.
And this most certainly is an automatic victory. No, this is most certainly. It could get, like I said, my pick was 21-20. I mean, 21-17. I believe, and this is me giving Dak his flowers. I believe if Dak was playing, we put 50 up on him again like we did last time. 50. So a 50 piece.
50 with just CeeDee Lamb and the run game? Okay.
Yeah, because
kind of says a lot what you think about him.
No, I mean, it just says it's more of indicative of what I feel about the Redskins defense.
We didn't talk about for weeks. It's just CD and me and you out there sliding, Well, okay. I'm just saying.
And the defense probably gonna score this week. They probably get a sack. I said it last week. They got the pick, but this week they're gonna be putting so much pressure on Carson Wentz. I mean, when you see a dude go down 9 times, like we saw the Bengals struggle week 1. In pass protection, and all we did was just poured on to that. And then we did the same thing with the Giants. I'm not sure exactly how good our defensive line is right now. It looks like a strength. But we played a couple teams that struggle in pass protection.
It's a strength.
No, yeah, but we've played teams that historically have been struggling with pass protection. And we have another one coming up. So I like to see the Cowboys abuse that. I think we hit Carson Wentz. He lets that ball go. Somebody picks it up. Takes it back for a score.
We'll take it.
Or a tip pass or something, some kind of way. I think our defense is going to help add points to it. But, like I said, I wanted to give Dak his flowers, but let's go eat, Zeke. Let's go eat.
Hey, let's go eat, Zeke. I'm with you. Hey, when you're on TV doing it, I'm right here with you with my ramen noodles for sure.
Yeah. Now, before Ryan closes us out today, I just want to thank everybody for taking the time out the day to listen to us. We really appreciate it. If you're watching us on YouTube, we really appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Let us know if you're enjoying it or what we need to do to get better. Also, we are now on Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Simply search SportzAttic on either of those platforms, and you should find our podcast. You can listen to the audio version. That's easier for you to digest it than sitting down and watching a YouTube video. So with that said, I guess, Ryan, I don't know if I'm missing anything. I kind of did with your job a little bit, but hey, take us out.
That sounds like a hell of a closeout to me, man. How about them Cowboys? We got the Commanders pulling up. We're going to see how we do. Let me know how y'all do with the parlay play of the days. Hit us up, throw it in the YouTube comments. We'll see y'all later.
All right.
Finger licking good.
How about them Cowboys?